सम्मता यदृशिवा हरे दाशु पुरुषस्य मनोमलम्.
The fortunate King Parikshit, inquiring further, said, O Brahmana, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied, and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed.
श्रीशुक उवाच जितासनो जिताश्वासो जितासङ्गो जितेन्द्रिया स्थूले भगवतो रूपे मनः सन्धारयेद्धिया.
Shukadeva Goswami answered, one should control the sitting posture, regulate the breathing process by the yogic pranayama, and thus control the mind and senses, and with intelligence apply the mind to the gross potencies of the Lord, called the Virat Rupa.
विशेषस्तस्य देहोऽयं स्थविष्टश्च स्थवीयसां यत्रिदं व्यजते विश्वं भूतं भव्यं भवाच्च सत्.
This gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole is the personal body of the Absolute Truth, wherein the universal resultant, past, present, and future of the material time is experienced.
अन्धकोशे शरीरेऽस्मिन् सप्तवर्णसंयुते वैराज्यपुरुषो योऽसौ भगवान् धरणाश्रया.
The gigantic universal form of the personality of Godhead within the body of the universal shell, which is covered by sevenfold material elements, is the subject for the Virat conception.
पातालमेतस्य हि पादमूलं पतन्ति पार्श्वीनि प्रपदे रसातलं महातलं विश्वसृजोतगुल्फौ तलातलं वै पुरुषस्य जाङ्गे.
Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patala constitute the bottoms of the feet of the universal Lord, and the heels and the toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets.
द्विजानुनि सुतलं विश्वमूर्ते उरुद्वयं वितलं चातलं च महीतलं तज्जघानं महीपते नभस्थलं नाभिसरो गृह्णन्ति.
The knees of the universal form are the planetary system of the name Sutala, and the two thighs are the Vitala and Atala planetary systems. The hips are Mahitala, and outer space is the depression of his navel.
उरास्थलं ज्योतिरानीकमस्य ग्रीवामहर्वादनं वै जनोऽस्य तपोवरातिं विदुरादिपुंसा सत्यं तु शीर्षाणि सहस्रशीर्षणा.
The chest of the original personality of the gigantic form is the luminary planetary system. His neck is the Maha planets, his mouth is the Janus planets, and his forehead is the Tapas planetary system. The topmost planetary system, known as Satyaloka, is the head of he who has 1,000 heads.
इन्द्रादयो बाहवाहुरुस्रा कर्णौ दिशा श्रोत्रममुष्य शब्दा नासत्यदस्रौ परमस्य नासे घ्राणोऽस्य गन्धो मुखमाग्निरिदा.
His arms are the demigods headed by Indra. The 10 directional sides are his ears, and physical sound is his sense of hearing. His 2 nostrils are the 2 Ashwini Kumaras, and material fragrance is his sense of smell. His mouth is the blazing fire.
द्यौरक्षिणी चक्षुराभूत्पतङ्गा पक्ष्मानि विष्णोरहनीयभेचा तत्भ्रूविजृम्भा परमेष्टि धिष्ण्यम् आपोऽस्य तालु रसेव जीवा.
The sphere of outer space constitutes his eye pits, and the eyeball is the sun as the power of seeing. His eyelids are both the day and night, and in the movements of his eyebrows, Brahma and similar supreme personalities reside. His palate is the director of water, Varunya, and the juice or essence of everything is his tongue.
चण्डांस्यनन्तस्य शिरो गृह्णन्ति दंष्ट्रायमा स्नेहकला द्विजानि हासो जनोन्मादकारी च माया दुरन्तसर्गो यदपाङ्गमोक्षा.
They say that the Vedic hymns are the cerebral passage of the Lord, and his jaws of teeth are Yama, god of death, who punishes the sinners. The art of affection is his set of teeth, and the most illusory material energy is his smile. This great ocean of material creation is but the casting of his glance over us.
व्रीदोतरौष्टौ धर एव लोभो धर्मास्तनो धर्मपथोऽस्य पृष्ठं कस्तस्य मेद्रं वृषणौ च मित्रौ कुक्षी समुद्रा गिरयोऽस्ति सङ्गा.
Modesty is the upper portion of his lips, hankering is his chin, religion is the breast of the Lord, and irreligion is his back. Brahmaji, who generates all living beings in the material world, is his genitals, and the Mitra Varunyas are his two testicles. The ocean is his waist, and the hills and mountains are the stacks of his bones.
नत्योऽस्य नात्यो तथुनीरुहानि महीरुहा विश्वतनो नृपेन्द्र अनन्तवीर्या स्वसितं मत्रिष्वा गतिर्वया कर्मगुणा प्रवाहा.
O king, the rivers are the veins of the gigantic body, the trees are the hairs of his body, and the omnipotent air is his breath. The passing ages are his movements, and his activities are the reactions of the three modes of material nature.
ईशास्य केशान् विदुरम्बुवाहान् वासस्तु सन्ध्यां कुरुवर्य भुम्ना अव्यक्तमाहुर्हृदयं मनश्च स चन्द्रमा सर्वविकारकोशा.
O best amongst the Kurus, the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head, the terminations of days or nights are his dress, and the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. His mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes.
विज्ञानशक्तिं महिमामनन्ति सर्वात्मनोऽन्ता करणं गरित्रम् अश्वाश्वतर्युष्ट्रगजानकानि सर्वे मृगा पशवश्रोणि देशे.
The principle of matter, Mahat Tattva, is the consciousness of the omnipresent Lord, as asserted by the experts, and Rudradeva is his ego. O horse, mule, camel, and elephant. The horse, mule, camel, and elephant are his nails, and wild animals and all quadrupeds are situated in the belt zone of the Lord.
वयांसि तद्व्याकरणं विचित्रं मनुर्मनीषा मनुजो निवासा गन्धर्वविद्याधरचारणा स्वरस्मृतिरसुरानि कवीर्या.
Varieties of birds are indications of his masterful artistic sense. Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence, and humanity is his residence. The celestial species of human beings, like the Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanyas, and angels all represent his musical rhythm, and the demoniac soldiers are representations of his wonderful prowess.
ब्रह्माननं शत्रभुजो महात्मा विदुरुरङ्घ्रि श्रितकृष्णवर्णा नानाविद्याभिजगनो प्रपन्नो द्रव्यात्मका कर्मवितानुयोगा.
The Virat Pasusha's face is the Brahmanas, his arms are the Kshatriyas, his thighs are the Vaishyas, and the Shudras are under his protection of his feet. All the worshipful demigods are also overtaken by him, and it is the duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord.
इयानसावीश्वरा विग्रहस्य या सा निवेश कथितो मया ते सन्धार्यतेऽस्मिन् वपुषि सविष्टे मानसबुद्ध्या नयतोऽस्ति कञ्चित्.
I have thus explained to you the gross material gigantic conception of the personality of Godhead. One who seriously desires liberation concentrates his mind on this form of the Lord, because there is nothing more than this in the material world.
स सर्वधिवृत्यनुभूत सर्वा आत्मा यथा स्वप्नजानेक्षितेका तं सत्यमानन्दनिधं भजेत नान्यत्र सज्जेत यत आत्मपाता.
One should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just as ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams. One must concentrate the mind on him, the only all blissful absolute truth. Otherwise, one will be misled and will cause his own degradation.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Nakshi and Pavni, for the beautiful recitation. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji is here. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, I've made you host, Prabhuji. You can share your screen.
Today I don't have laptop with me, so
Okay.
can I request?
Yeah, I
to
can
share?
share the verses.
Yes, Mataji, please. That would be great. Okay, so very beautiful recitations. Okay, so we shall move into the next part. So I'm not sharing my camera. So we are in the second canto, first chapter, verse number 26. So where Sukadeva Goswami is explaining about the Virat Purusha and his form, and so those details. So before we enter into Srimad Bhagavatam, so we shall do Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroh Shritapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padham Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsham. हे कृष्ण करुण सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमो ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकास स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृणुतां स्वगताः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्तो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृसताम्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। एते चां सकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयं इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे। इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकसधन्यं स्वस्ते नमः। कृष्णे सुदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह कलो न सदृशामीश पुराणार्पवदनोदितः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये। अति विश्वेषु विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशमिं चिन्निदृढं पाण्डिषु विष्णुषु त्वयि मेनन्यविषयामतिर्मदपते सकृत् रतिमुद्वाह तद्दा गङ्गेव भूमुदन्वतीं श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सखा विष्णुर्षभावनिधृ राजन्यं दहनानपवर्गवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजसुराट्यहरावतार योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। 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 तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गसङ्गस्य मर्त्येनां किमुताशशः पुनश्च भूयाद् भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गाश तदाश्रयेषु महस्त्वयां यामुप्यां सृष्टिं मैत्रसु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः। हरे कृष्ण everyone. So today is very auspicious day. Today is Moksha Ekadasi. So it is a very auspicious day. So we are going to discuss on the Krishna's Virat Rupa. So in the last chapter, in the last few verses, so we have seen how this Andakoshe Shariresmin Saptavarna Samyute Vairajaha Purusho Yo Asau Bhagavan Dharana Ashrayah. So the Krishna in his Virat form, he enters into the universe, and which is covered by the Saptavaranas. There are 7 layers. So likewise, so we have heard from the Induleka Mataji, very beautifully Mataji explained. So further, Sukadeva Goswami is explaining about the how these planetary systems have been situated. So this from the all the bottom planetary systems, starting from Patala Loka and until to the top of the planet Brahmaloka. So how they have been situated. So we are in the first, second canto, chapter 1, verse number 26. Patalam etasya padamulam patanti paristi prapade rasatalam mahatalam visasisho atagulpau talatalam vai purushasya jange. Patalam etasya hi padamulam. So bottom of the universe, this Patala Loka is there. Patalam etasya hi. So it is Padamulam. It is the root of his toes. It is the root of his toes. Patanti paristi prapade rasatalam. Patanti paristi prapane rasatalam. So this is Patanti, the people who are studying all this Lord's form, and Paristi and his this is his heels. Prapade, the toes, or Rasatalam, so it is being compared. Patanti Paristi Prapade Rasatalam. Mahatalam Viswa Shujo Ata Gulpau. And Mahatalam is the another planet. The planet Mahatala, Visvrjiha, of the creator of the universe. Talatalam vai Purushasya Jange. Talatalasya Purushasya Jange. And it is the Talatala, it is the name of the planet. It is Purushasya Jange, it is his shanks. Patalametassihi padamulam patanti paristi prapade rasatalam mahatalam visurjo athagulpau talatalam vai purushasya jange. So translation for this verse. Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patala constitute the bottom of the feet of the universal Lord, and the heels and the toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets. And purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I request Mataji so to go to the purport? Okay, thank you, Mataji. So outside the bodily existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the manifested cosmic existence has no reality. Everything and anything of the manifested world rests on him, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.4. But that does not imply that everything and anything in the vision of the materialist is the Supreme Personality. The conception of the universal form of the Lord gives a chance to the materialist to think of the Supreme Lord, but the materialist must know for certain that his visualization of the world in a spirit of lording over it is not God realization. The materialistic view of exploitation of the material resources is occasioned by the illusion of the external energy of the Lord. And as such, if anyone wants to realize the supreme truth by conceiving of the universal form of the Lord, he must cultivate the service attitude. Unless the service attitude is revived, the conception of Virat realization will have very little effect on the seer. The transcendental Lord, in any conception of his form, is never part of the material creation. He keeps his identity as Supreme Spirit in all circumstances and is never affected by the three material qualities. For everything material is contaminated. The Lord always exists by his internal energy. The universe is divided into 14 planetary systems. 7 planetary systems called Bhur, Bhuvar, Swar, Mahar, Janaha, Tapaha, and Satya, or upward planetary systems, one above the other. So there are also 7 planetary systems downward, known as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala, gradually one below the other. In this verse, the description begins from the bottom because it is in the line of devotion that the Lord's bodily description should begin from his feet. Sukadeva Goswami is a recognized devotee of the Lord, and he is exactly correct in the description. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in this purport, Prabhupada is mentioning how even the Krishna is completely in his spiritual expansions, and he expands himself in the entire cosmic manifestation. So initially, so he expands for the material creation, expands into Karnodak Sai Vishnu. So that is from whose body all the universes are emanating from. And the next one from his body, and from each universe he enters into Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. And he enters into Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. There he stays in the Garbhodaka ocean of within the universe. From his navel, the lotus stem comes, and from where Lord Brahma emanates. And Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, he expands himself as a Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. So these verses in the first canto, chapter 3, it is mentioned, Jugrihe Purham Rupam Bhagavan Mahadadibihi Sambhotam Sodasakala Madho Loka Sisrukshaya. So that is the Karnodak Sai Vishnu. And then he expands into Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Yasyam Basasyanasya Yoga Nidram Vitanvataha Nabhidham Bujad Asid Brahma Visrujam Patihi. From whose navel this lotus comes, that is Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So likewise, and he expands further himself into Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu further, and he resides in the Kshirodaka ocean for this material universe maintenance. So here there are three Vishnus. Apart from these three Vishnus, Lord expands as a Virat Rupa as well. So here, apart from this Virat Rupa, so Vishnustu Trini Rupani Purushakya Anyuto Viduhu. There are three Vishnu forms. Ekam tu Jagasrastuhu Vitiyam Tvanda Samsitam. First one is the Karunadaka Sai Vishnu. Second is Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Trutiyam Sarvabhotastam Tanyatva Vimuchyate. Whoever knows that these three Vishnu forms, they will be relieved from this material universe. This is mentioned in the Brihat Smriti Purana. So, and Virat Rupa, the detailed description of Virat Rupa and all this, not about the planet system, it is explained by Kapila Bhagavan in the third canto, 26th chapter, very beautifully. And before this material universe creates, he creates the material ingredients, and that is the Sarga, the primary creation. So Kapil Bhagavan says all these material elements are the 24 elements, and including the time 25. On top of that, the soul and the super soul. So this is Panchapihi Brahma Chaturbihi Dasibihi Tada Etat Chaturvimshitikam Ghanam. So these are the 24 elements. Radhanikam Viduhu. All these people, the learned people, says Mahabhutani Panchaiva Bhurapog Nirmarunadaha Tanmatrani Chitavanti Gandhadini Matanimi. These 5 elements of material elements, and then 5 Tanmatras, and then later on the 5 senses, and then Karanendriyas and Jnanendriyas. Those are the 20. Later on, mind, intelligence, ego, and then Chittam. So these 24 elements, these have been created. Now, but even though these primary elements are created, there is no amalgamation is happening. So for that, Krishna expands as the Virat form into this Anda. This is the Vishwagola, the big gigantic universal cell. So whenever he enters, and through his energy, all these elements have been amalgamated, then the Lord forms and he expands his body. That is spiritual body, and his body is now going to accommodate all these material elements within his body. Lord's form is the spiritual, and from the Lord's body, all these elements they form, and from the Lord's body, all other elements like demigods, they are being created, like Agni from his initially his mouth getting created, and then eyes, and likewise his nose, ears, and like all his bodily forms, all the demigods come out, and then even though they have come out, but they cannot do their activities individually. So, and the Lord, the Virat Purusha, he doesn't wake up. So once again, they all enter into the Lord, but still he doesn't wake up. So one of the element is the chittam, which is the consciousness. Whenever it enters into the Lord, then he stood up, and then all other functions would take place. So that is the Lord's body is entirely spiritual, and within the body, everything else is accommodated. So within the body itself, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Chandra, and Surya, all other demigods are also existing. So here in this verse specifically, this is the Patala Lokas. It is been explained here. And these are the bottom planetary systems. They are situated, are considered. It is the for the people of materialistic for easy understanding about the Supreme Lord to consume what is the world, how they can understand. Likewise, Prabhupada is also mentioning here. So whenever that person has got a service attitude, then only this knowledge will be revealed properly. Otherwise, Virat realization will have very little effect on the seer. So and then further Prabhupada is explaining all about the bottom planetary systems and then upper planetary systems. Okay, so we shall move into the next verse. So next verse is the 27th verse. द्वे जानूनि सुतलं विश्वमूर्ते रुरुद्वयं वितलं च अतलं च महीतलं तज्जगनं महीपते नभस्थलं नाभि सरो गृह्णन्ति द्वे जानूनि सुतलं विश्वमूर्ते रुरुद्वयं वितलं च अतलं च महीतलं तज्जगनं महीपते नभस्थलं नाभि सरो गृह्णन्ति. So for this one is translation is the knees of the universal form or the planetary system of the name Sutala, and the two thighs are the Vitala and Atala planetary systems. The hips are Mahitala, and outer space is the depression of his navel. So these are again comparisons where these planetary systems are situated. The knees of the universal form or the planetary system of the name Sutala. Two thighs are the Vitala and Atala, and the hips are Mahatala, and outer space is depression of his navel. Okay, so there is no purport here. So it is the mention of the position of these planetary systems existing within this universe. Okay, so the next verse is the 28th verse. Vurastalam jyotiranikamastya griva maharvadhanam vai jano asya tapovaratim viduradi pumsaha satyam tu seshnani sahasratishnaha. Vurastalam jyotiranikamastya griva maharvadhanam vai jano asya tapovaratim viduradi pumsaha satyam tu seshnani sahasratishnaha. So this verse translation is the chest of the original personality of the gigantic form is luminary planetary system. His neck is Mahar planetary systems, Mahar planets. His mouth is the Janaha planets, and his forehead is the Tapa planetary system. The topmost planetary system, known as Satyaloka, is the head of he who has 1,000 heads. And purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The effulgent luminary planets like the sun and the moon are situated almost in the mid place of the universe, and as such, they are to be known as the chest of the original gigantic form of the Lord. And above the luminary planets, called also the heavenly places of the universal directorate demigods, are the Mahar, Janaha, and Tapaha planetary systems. And above all, Satyaloka planetary system, where the chief directors of the modes of material nature reside, namely Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. This Vishnu is known as Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, and he acts as the super soul in every living being. There are innumerable universes floating on the casual ocean, and in each of them, the representation of the Virat form of the Lord is there, along with innumerable suns, moons, heavenly demigods, Brahmas, Vishnus, and Shivas, all of them situated in one part of the inconceivable potency of Lord Krishna, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 10.42. Brahmano hi pratistaham. This is Atava Bahunaitena Kim Jnatena Tavajuna. So here this is by Lord's one expansion. So all this entire cosmic manifestation gets created, maintained, and destroyed. So that is so here in this purport, and also I don't have a laptop with me, so it contains so much of beautiful things to explain. All these planetary systems within the universe, all these 14 planetary systems and where they are, and each above planet is the 10 times bigger than the lower planets, and also the coverings. And this sky, the entire sky, it also mentions in the Bhagavad Gita by Kapila Bhagavan. Nabho dadati swasatam. Nabho dadati swasatam. The sky gives the space to all the living entities. Padam yennaya madadaha. And all these planets float within the space of the sky. And here, within this universe, the Lord, he expands. Because of his expansion, Lokan Swadeha Tanute, in this entire universe, all these planets, they are situated in the Lokan Swadeham Tanute. Mahan Saptabhiravrutam, this is the 7 avaranas. There are 7 avaranas, they are surrounded within the planet, outside of this planet. The universe. All the planets are situated in the body of Virat Rupa. So that is this is also mentioned in the Brahma Samhita. Yah karna navajale bajrisma yoga nidra mananta jagadanda saromakopaha. From his body, jagadanda saromakopaha. From his body, so many things comes. Yasyeka nisvasita matavalambhya jivanti loma vilaja jagadanda nadaha. So all these things, within one breath, everything come and everything will be annihilated. So that is Krishna's form. That is Brahma Samhita. There Brahma explains about the Krishna's universal creation. And so here in this one, Vishnu, here known as the Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, he acts as a super soul in every living being. And there are innumerable universes floating on the casual ocean. And in each of them represents the Virat representation of the Virat form of the Lord. So that is once again Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. He is available for our material affairs. Whenever Brahma and Shiva and demigods got problems, they go to the shore of the Kshirodaka ocean and they pray to the Lord and offer their obeisances, and then Lord speak. That is how we understand from the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. Whenever demigods got a problem, and then Lord spoke that he is going to appear along with all his associates, and he instructed all the demigods to take birth in the Vrindavana. And so all the demigods, all the cows, humans, all the Gopas, Gopis, they're all demigods. And also in the Dwaraka, they have taken the human forms to give, so that they're waiting for the Lord appearance. So that Kshirodaka Vishnu resides in the Kshirodaka ocean. And also here, and all these Siddhas and Munis and the great sages who are residing in the Maharloka, Janaloka. So whenever there is a universal inundation occurs, and using the airplanes, they will go to upper planetary systems, that is Brahma's planet. which is, at least in this universe, there is no, we would say there is no death when compared to the bottom planetary systems. That is mentioned and Bhagavatam as well. So it is not originally actually, but it is relatively no death when compared to the bottom planetary systems. So Brahma's planet is the topmost. But if we still go further and crossing this entire universe, then we enter into the spiritual realm, into the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his abode. That is where all these sages, they wanted to go, and they meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there are two processes, like one is the yoga, that is Sankhya Yoga, and then another one is Lokesmin Vidhanishta Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sankyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. So these are two different paths. One is the Bhakti Yoga and one is the Jnana Yoga. And Jnana Yoga, so these yogis, they go to the secluded place and meditate on the Lord's, his bodily beautiful four-handed form. And that is where yogi has to concentrate from his toes to in the 26th verse, the Sukadeva Goswami, Prabhupada was mentioning, Sukadeva Goswami is trying to explain from the feet. So that is where the yogis concentrate. Tasmin labda padam chittam sarvavaiva samsitam vilakshekatra samyujjad ange bhagavato munihi. And each and every part of the Lord, yogi has to meditate for a longer period of time. So it mentions first is the toes, that is, and then later on the knees, and then his thighs. Very beautiful parts have been explained in detail. When we are going through those verses, we really meditate on the Lord's form. So likewise, Sukadeva Goswami suggests to meditate for the yogis. And here in this similar way, Sukadeva Goswami is giving the descriptions of the planetary systems, the bottom planetary systems. And also here, even Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, and all other demigods, they're always afraid of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that they carry out their material duties. Gunabhimanu Devaha Sargadishu Asya Yadbhayat. So including demigods, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, they're afraid of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they carry out their duties within this universe. That is also mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam by Kapila Muni. Kapila Bhagavan, he explains that everything in this everything is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vattante anuyugam vashe etat characharam gunabhimanano devaha sargadishu asya yadbhayat. So this is everything. When even the Lord also expands into the Vishnu form, and Vishnu also taking some responsibility, but whenever he comes, but still he knows his position, and the Brahma and Shiva, they are in the control of the Lord Vishnu. This is Sujamitanyoham Haro Harati Tadvashaha Vishwam Purusha Rupena Paripati Trishakti Druk. And then he maintains this universe in the using Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara in the three material modes of nature, by accepting those modes. But actually the Supreme God is the only one, that is Krishna. So here just only these planetary systems. I don't have the laptop to show that beautiful pictures to explain. And then so for each and every layer, in each and every layer, for example in the earth layer, and then on top of water layer, on top of that fire, and then the air, and then sky, and then ego, mind, intelligence. So these are the 7 layers, and each layer they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, in the earth layer, they worship the Lord as the Varaha Deva. So this is when Varaha Deva lifted the earth from the um, Rasatala. At the time, he kept the earth and the ocean, Garbhodaka ocean. That means, Bhumandala. So that is, he lifted, and then by touching Svakurakrante, Sarile Svakurakranta Upadatta Vitavanim, by touching his legs, then he injected his potency into the planet so that it doesn't sink in the Garbhodaka oceans. And also all these oceans, everything, even though earth is so heavy, it doesn't sink because Namadjati Yad Bhayat, once again the fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Agnir Inde Sagiri Bhibuhu Namadjati Yad Bhayat. Even there are so many heavy things on this planet. The heavy mountains, big oceans, but still it floats on the Garbhodaka ocean. It is by the potency of the Lord. So it is very beautifully explained in this one. Likewise, and each and every layer, like the mind, that is where the Lord is being worshipped as Aniruddha. Yadahu Aniruddhakyam. It is mentioned. Aniruddha is the deity for the mind, and Pradyumna is the deity for the intelligence, and also for the ego, it is the Sankashana. He is the deity Bhutendriya Manomayam Sahasra Sirasham Sakshat Yam Anantam Prajakshate Sankashanakyam Prahuhu Bhutendriya Manomayam. He is the Lord of all the Bhutendriya Manomayam. He is the Lord of the ego, Sankashana. And then he is worshipped as Sankashana in that ego layer, which is outer covering of the universe. And then whenever we completely absorb in the meditation and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then that particular soul, he would pierce the covering of the universe and enter into the spiritual planetary systems by crossing this Virija ocean. So that is very beautifully explained in the Bhagavatam in different parts. And also this, whenever this universe is being created, and how Lord Shankara as a Sadasiva, so through his he collects all these souls and he injects all these souls into this universe in the womb of this nature. And that is Lord Shiva. That's why he is called the first father and mother. Durga Devi and Lord Shankara, they're the first father and mother in this material universe. And Durga Devi is the in charge, and she is the shadow energy of the Lord to maintain here. And even though she is in charge, and then in order to maintain Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, and they will take into different positions. So there are different layers of each and every position in the material universe, and then going outside once again, there is Sadasiva and also Vasudeva, Sankashana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So they are expansions of the Lord Narayana, and above that, Goloka Vrindavan, where the Supreme Lord Krishna. Yatra Sarvopari Goloke, Tat Sarvopari. So that is where Govindo Paramanande Viharet Govindo Paramanandi Atulanayaka. So it is mentioned he is on the topmost point, he is enjoying there. It is the 50 crores of yojanas on top of the Vaikuntha planets. That is where our Supreme Lord with all his paraphernalia exists. Some of the information has been given in the Brahmanda Purana when he creates all this Narayana and Lord Shankara and Brahma, Dharma, Saraswati, Lakshmi Devi, Parvati, and all other manifestation of the 400 forms of Vishnu. So 400 forms of Vishnu and Narayana, they go to the Vaikuntha planets and occupy. And Lord Shankara was given to Kailasa planet. Likewise, it is mentioned in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. So there we understand, so Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and also time is calculated. This Brahma's lifespan is one called comparatively one nimesha of the Narayana, and Narayana and Lord Shankara and Mola Prakriti. So they are of in the same level. Narayana, Lord Shankara, level in the sense in terms of the time factor, and also Mola Prakriti. So all these forms they enter into the Krishna's body whenever there is a 100 years of one image is the Brahma's lifespan, and then likewise there are 100 years completes. That means there are so innumerable Brahmas. They will come and born, and then they're gone. That is Brahma's lifespan, and then Narayana, Lord Shankara, and the Mola Prakriti. That is Radharani. They enter into the body of Krishna, and then Lord Krishna. So that is the time for Lord Krishna to take a nap on the Shatashringa mountain. It is the in between this Rasa Mandala. There is a very beautiful Rasa Mandala that is where in between the Shatashringa mountain and Virija river. That is the Rasa Mandala is there. Very nice, cozy comfort bed there. Whenever he want, that is the time for his nap. And then once again, whenever he wakes up, and then whenever he sees that there is nothing, then he would create once again all the spiritual manifestations, spiritual creation, and later on material creations. And also Radharani or Mola Prakriti is also mentioned. She is the mother of the Mahavishnu. That is also mentioned in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. So likewise, there is a beautiful creation, but whenever I get a chance, so I would show all these pictures and explain those things in the Goloka chart, how they are created, and there are very beautiful explanations from the Bhagavatam and also different Puranas and the Brahma Samhita. It is very beautiful to hear, and also before we go into those things, listening on the Vaikuntha planet, understanding all these things about the material planet and then Vaikuntha planets. Whenever we digest all these things, those will be very easy to understand very beautifully. So that is about these planetary systems. And here so far we have been in the only bottom planetary systems, and how they are situated in the Virat Rupa of the Supreme Lord. Sahasrasesham Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. So there is a Purusha Sukta as well. Very beautiful Purusha Sukta where it explains about all the Varnashrama dharmas, where the Brahmanas situated and where the Kshatriyas situated and the Sudras. So Brahmanas are the head and Kshatriyas are the shoulders and Vaishyas are the belly of the Lord. And then Sudras, they are the legs. Likewise, Varnashrama dharma is also compared to the Lord in the Virat form, in the Purusha Suktam. So it is very beautifully explained there. So these are the few descriptions from these verses. So I shall stop here, and I request dear devotees, if you have got any questions or any corrections or any comments, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Hope you can unmute and okay, if there are no questions or no comments, then we shall end the session here. Hare Krishna. Mataji. Okay. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Wonderful class. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.